What up, guys? Welcome to Music Blueprint. My name is Gina Fontanella, one of the co-founders of Music Blueprint. And today I'm pretty pumped because one of the things I love about Music Blueprint is that as much as I'm trying to teach and give wisdom, I learn a ton doing this. And it reminds me of the things of where I'm lacking and slacking. And it reminds me of the things that I'm doing pretty good at. And just keeps me focused on what I need to be focused on. And today, the podcast is going to be about branding from my perspective. And I have a very different perspective on branding and image than I think most artists do and probably most marketing people do. And hopefully somebody out there who is very similar to me will connect on the few points that I'm going to bring up, because I am just not a typical artist. I don't know if any of you guys listened to my interview with Camber. Camber to me is a very typical artist. She exudes artistry from her head to her toe, how she dresses, how she expresses herself, even with her makeup and her songs, and the way that she, for a second there, she was putting these little acoustic albums together, and the way that she decorated them. I mean, everything from her head to her toe exudes what her artistry is. So her branding then becomes a lot easier, because take a picture of her. I mean, that's her branding. It's a lot easier. But for me, I am more logic brained as an artist. And most artists are more emotional brained. So, and that's why branding sometimes becomes easier for them, because they're thinking about it all the time. They're thinking about, oh, I like this outfit because it makes me feel like this. Or I like, this because it reminds me of when I was a kid and blah, 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 and all these reasons. And I have just never really been like that. I have been an artist that is better at business, which again is not typical of an artist. We typically get so caught up in the emotion of our art that we can't see past it. And when then business comes in and they're not about our art, it feels like an attack on us. And that's not the case. Business is business, and art is art. But I have been a person that's been more on the business side. So as an artist, trying to navigate branding and trying to navigate how I express myself in a visual way has been a bit of a struggle for me. And I don't really think I don't think I have it nailed down, if I'm being real honest. But I think that I have really nailed down my look and what I know people to know me as, and they know me as that because of how I branded myself. So, and I'll start with first, I think if you look at my page, I'm definitely known as the girl with the streak, number one. And that actually works out really great for me because I've had the streak for over a decade. And it was just something that I thought was really cool at first. And I just stuck with it. And then I ended up dyeing it a bunch of different colors. And it kind of just exploded from there to the point now that when I post on Instagram, hey, I'm dyeing my hair a new color, everybody knows that it's now time to vote what color to dye my hair. And people get really into it. It's actually one of my most interactive posts that I have. Most viewed posts, everything. It's crazy. So I think that's the first thing. The second thing is that I decided to become the girl with the space buns. And every time I did a music video, I put my hair in space buns of some kind, whether it be half up, half down, fully up. I did Fully Up for a long time. When I did American Idol, my imagery on American Idol was very, very clear. I was the girl with the big colorful outfit, always had my hair in space buns, always had a pair of sunglasses. Even American Idol had to really work around my glasses in interviews because of the reflection of the light, which I know right now as you're seeing me, I'm more dressed down from my typical artistry stuff. But when I go into a studio, you know something's up with me. Like, you know something is going on with me and you are intrigued about what's about to happen. But again, just going back to branding and going back to the look, like, you want to be, I think my goal has always been, I wanted to be being able to be recognized on the street. And that if I wasn't wearing or dressed in my typical artistry self, you wouldn't be able to recognize me on the street. You see what I'm getting at? Because my imagery and branding would be so strong that if I wasn't in that, it would be like a fish out of water. You wouldn't even be able to recognize me because it wasn't who I was. I think another thing for me that's been really difficult trying to go down the road of branding and imagery was taking the time to figure it out. I am such a person that time is of the essence, that if something takes too long, I'm on to the next thing. And that works in a lot of other ways. It works in a lot of different things, especially in the music industry. But in terms of branding takes time. Marketing takes time. You really need to sit down and almost make a vision board about it, of what colors do you like and what styles do you like and why do you like them. When I finally sat down and really thought about what style I liked, I realized that I loved the 90s. I grew up in the 90s, and I'm not, like, a lot of people don't believe me that I grew up in the 90s. I caught the 90s, folks. I didn't just catch 99 and said I lived in the 90s. 92 here, lived in the 90s, and I had a lot of older cousins, so I got a lot of the flow. I remember a lot of it. And I loved the style from the 90s. And so I thought to myself, how can I incorporate that to my branding? And so about 3 years ago, I just did a complete rebrand. I deleted everything off of social media and bought a bunch of new clothes and just completely rebranded myself to become this girl with the space buns, with the crazy, like, sheer outfits, with crazy Doc Marten shoes, big puffy jackets. I mean, I just kind of went all in to who I wanted to be and who I thought I was. Because that's the other thing is if your branding doesn't match up with kind of who you are, people are going to see through that. And so I was trying to find, okay, who am I and what do I like and how can I make that shine through on social media? And so I just really took the time to sit and think about, what styles do I like? Why do I like plaid? Why do I like plaid skirts? Why do I like fishnet or mesh t-shirts? And why do I like crop tops all the time and baggy pants and high-waisted baggy pants? That's my big thing right now. I love high-waisted baggy pants. And why do I like all those things? And does it fit into who I am? And yes or no? Or am I being fake or whatever? And I asked myself all those questions and I came up with the branding that I came up with. And there's still people today that, when I went on American Idol, so many people were like, Billie Eilish knockoff, or this doesn't really seem true to who she is, and all these different things. But I had already taken the time to figure out who I was and why that lined up with who I was. So when people said those things about me, it didn't bug me because I was like, who are you? You don't even know me. You know what I'm saying? So it didn't affect me because I was like, those people don't know me. And I actually took the time to put this together. And I really sat down and thought about what I wanted and what I wanted to reflect. Another thing that I think is really important about this goes beyond branding. This just goes about marketing that I've actually found a lot of success with recently is people are interested in the long post now. I know that used to be a Facebook thing, and it was kind of annoying when you're on Facebook and somebody goes on some 5-paragraph rant about whatever. But it's a thing now, not just on Facebook. On Instagram, people want to know something more in depth about you. It's not just the superficial picture of you in a bathing suit. Now, I don't really like when people put like a half naked picture of themselves and then they try to do something very insightful. I'm like, eye roll, big eye roll. But if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. No big deal. Just make it true to yourself. And if that's what you find insightful or maybe even humorous, do it. But for me, I try to post a picture and I try to look at the picture and see something about it that I like. And then if I like that, then say that and why I like it. Because people are following you to know more about you. So to know more about you, the only way they can do that is what you tell them. So a great example would be today, I posted a picture of myself and it has these shoes. And I love these new shoes. They're these Doc Marten sandals. I had looked for them for forever. Finally found them and didn't even get the right size because I couldn't find them anywhere. And it was winter, so there were no sandals anywhere. But I was going to Hawaii for American Idol, so I needed sandals. So I was like, man, these are like a half size too big. But if I put like these like freaking, what's it called? These little buffers around the shoes and my foot will stay in enough and it'll be fine. But they're like my favorite thing and I've worn them all summer. And so I had taken a bunch of pictures in this photo shoot and those shoes were in there and I said, people make fun of me for these grandpa shoes, but they're my favorite shoes. And I'm so happy that Doc Marten made them. And I said, tag your favorite shoe below. And that's just something simple. Like people start to realize I really like Doc Martens. And hopefully, fingers crossed, one day Doc Marten will sponsor me. But people have started to realize that when they see my pictures, they're like, wait, she keeps wearing Doc Martens. She really likes Doc Martens. Or she keeps wearing mesh shirts. Man, she really likes mesh shirts. Like people start recognizing things about you and they start following you because they feel like they're a part of your life. And they also follow you because maybe what's a part of their life and what's a part of your life matches up. I just recently been playing at my uncle's church and I've been helping lead worship and all these different things. And my cousin came up to me and she was like, dude, I'm working with all, the youth and like, they won't come up to you. And I'm like, what do you mean they won't come up to me? Like, I'm so nice. Like, what do you mean? She was like, they're like starstruck because you were on American Idol. And I was like, what? They're like, yeah, they're just like obsessed with you. They follow you everywhere on social media. They're like, yeah, I've been on all her lives and da-da-da-da-da. And she's like, they're starting to mimic your style and they keep calling you an e-girl. And I was laughing so hard. I have never been called an e-girl. But then when I looked up pictures of an e-girl, well, I didn't have to look up pictures. TikTok had showed me enough about what an e-girl is. But I realized, oh my gosh, I am an e-girl. And probably most of my fans are e-girls because we all wear the same thing. We wear the mesh shirt with the high-waisted pants and like a belt and then some kind of combat boot. And I just had this realization that, oh my gosh, these people are following me because they're exactly like me. And they understand what I like. And they probably understand what I'm going through. I think a lot of times on social media, you forget that people are people because people get real ballsy to say things on the internet, but you forget that people are following you because they connect to the same things that you connect to. And so when you're creating your profile and you're creating your pictures, keep that in mind. People are here to connect with you, and every post should be focusing on you connecting with them on a deeper level. And every time you go to do something, and I know this is so hard. This is so hard for me because I'm such a time-oriented person. So if you're a person that's so time conscious of like, I can make more money, I can make back money, but the one thing I can't get back is time, I'm with you. And that is how I feel about social media. But do whatever you need to do to plan accordingly to be able to take things to the next level. If you need to set aside time, an hour a day, to plan out your posts for the whole week and put them all on Hootsuite and get them, scheduled on Hootsuite or whatever, do it so that you can have the time to actually write out meaningful posts. Because it's really, really important, and it really does take things to the next level. I mean, I follow some people, and I follow them just because they're big content creators. But what I've noticed about their content is that they're constantly talking about meaningful things in their life. All the time. And it makes you feel like you know them. And that if you met them on the street, you'd be friends with them. And that's what you have to do on your profile. That's what you have to do to connect with people on social media and take your social media to the next level. Period. And in terms of branding, again, everything in marketing and branding just goes back to time. Take the time, make a vision board. Take this week and make a vision board of the things that you like and the things that you don't like, and really solidify your ideas and what you think of yourself. What values do you stand for? Who are your favorite artists? What are just simple things that you love? I mean, everybody knows that I love pugs. That's just a simple, funny thing about myself. I just love them. And I loved them before they were a fad. I've had people message me and be like, I know you liked pugs before they became a thing. Like, it's just a funny little thing. Another thing I put on my page is I'm going to sell out the Staples Center in 3 years. I get people messaging me about that all the time. And it's just a simple thing that I bring up all the time. You got to find those little tidbit things to connect with people and really take the time to figure out why you like things, and then your branding. I just showed kind of gave a display of my outfit for those people that aren't seeing video. Your branding then will come forward and will really shine through on your social media, and your look and everything will shine forward on that. And even your color schemes will shine forward. I kind of take more of the approach on my page of I post whatever I want, whatever I want to. Because I decided actually just a few months ago that I wanted my page to be very organic and just very raw and real. And yeah, I have these photos that are great, and they would look great in a continuous scroll down my page if I put them all together. But the problem is I have so much content, and all the content doesn't visually have the same look. So I'm like, you know what? I'd rather just post all the content and then it just have this very raw format, because that's how I am. I'm very raw. But other people who like to take the time and have their page look a certain way might get really into color schemes and that aspect, which again just takes time. So take the time to do it. Take the time this week. Let it be your goal of this week is to figure out all the different things about your branding and write it all down. Don't just put it in your head. Write it down somewhere. Every goal unwritten is a wish. So write it down, get it solidified, and figure out what your branding is, because that really is the foundation of all of your success. You really could be more successful on the branding side than your music. sometimes. So, and your music relies on branding. It is so, so important. People 9 times out of 10 won't even listen to your song if you don't have a cool album art or something that intrigues them. So, let that be your, I don't want to say homework because that makes it lame and it makes it like we're in school, but let that be your goal of this week, is to figure out your branding and your visuals and your ideas about yourself. And hopefully that'll set you up to succeed in the music industry. I will see you guys next week. Bye.